more interactive in that we focus our attention to a specific region and country, so Malaysia and Singapore this time, which means that we will be addressing country-specific issues and questions such as...
Hello and welcome to the AECC Global Video Series. Today we have guests from the University of Sydney, Ms. Elaine Koh and Ms. Jun Seok Yang. Thank you very much for taking some time to join me in the AECC YouTube video series. Elaine and Jun, would you mind please introducing yourself and share with us what's your role at the University of Sydney?
Thanks, Daryl. Hi, everyone. My name is Elaine Koh, and I'm actually the coordinator for the Southeast Asia recruitment team here at the University of Sydney. Being a fellow Singaporean myself, it means a lot to me to be able to work closely with students and their families in the Southeast Asia region. I was also previously an international student, and so I guess I can relate to many families when making that important decision about studying abroad.
And Jun, I heard from someone that you also studied in Singapore before at Hwa Chong Junior College, isn't it?
That's correct. Hey. So, hi everybody. My name is Jun Seok Yang, as is very suggestive from my name. I came from South Korea. However, I spent my high school years in Singapore, so I do resonate with Singapore a lot. I feel as if Singapore is my hometown, actually. So, it wasn't the JC. I went to the Hwa Chong International School, but I spent 4 years in total in Singapore right before joining the Australian National University where I studied. And I also did NS back in my country. So not only do I have that connection with Singaporean students, but also as a male who's done NS and had to defer studies and who is also an international student myself, I believe I have much value to offer and a lot of empathy and knowledge coming from a student who's almost gone through everything which a Singaporean student would go through as well. So I've been working at the University of Sydney for almost 2 years now. I'm currently looking after the Southeast Asian market, and I expect to give you a lot of information and answer a lot of questions that you may ask on the day.
That's great. Thank you. Well, there has been quite a number of things going on, especially good news at the University of Sydney, isn't it, right? Being ranked #1 in Australia, #4 in the world for graduate employment, and also the only universities in Australia with the Triple Crown accreditation and the CMS. And also just half the press, isn't it? #27 in the best global universities by the US report and ranking. Clearly a lot to shout out this weekend, next weekend, isn't it? And I understand that the University of Sydney is running its first virtual fair in Singapore on Saturday, the 31st of October. Can you please share with us some of the key highlights that Singaporean students can look forward to at the fair?
Yeah, thanks, Daryl. Well, as a start, we would like to invite everyone to discover the University of Sydney anywhere in Singapore, from, I guess, the comfort of your own home, in school, or even in your car, streaming across all your devices. As much as we would love to visit Singapore to meet you personally, however, I guess due to the current pandemic situation, we have shifted all our events virtually so that it'll be safe and convenient for everyone to attend. And during this 2-hour session on the 31st of October, some of the highlights would include having a live chat with our Singaporean students and alumni on their experience studying at Australia's #1 university for graduate employability. And this includes them sharing the benefits of USYD online as well. So you'll find out why so many Singaporeans love to live and study here in Sydney, from food, weather, accommodation, transport, academic support, industrial engagements, to international exchange opportunities as well. And we will also provide advice on entry requirements on our range of over 400 subject areas. And most importantly, scholarship opportunities, so that, I guess you can start applying straight away. And finally, you will also have the exclusive opportunity to be invited to a one-on-one consultation with the university in November.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. And I understand it's not the usual format as most of the other universities, virtual fairs. So how would you say this event, how would you describe it? Is it more interactive or more consultative?
Yes, absolutely. So although the main focus of this event would be similar to other virtual events or fairs, which is to provide course and admissions related information and also answer live questions, the thing about the Meet Sydney event is that it's more interactive in that we focus our attention to a specific region and country, so Malaysia and Singapore this time, which means that we will be addressing country-specific issues and questions, such as the possibility of deferral, for example, for male Singaporean students for national service, and entry requirements pertaining to Malaysian or Singapore A-levels, etc. So we also have invited 7 current students from Singapore and Malaysia, where they will share their experience of studying in Sydney and what it's like compared to their home country. So not only will you be able to hear a first-hand experience of your fellow country students, Singapore and Malaysians alike, you can also ask questions that you may not be able to ask if it were other international students. So I guess interactive and more consultative would be the 2 words that would describe and differentiate this event from other virtual fairs.
Well, talking about deferment, the Korean pop group BTS is trying to defer their national service, isn't it? As you know, the Singapore audience will comprise mostly A-level students and IB students, and the other cohort is mainly, as you know, Elaine, mostly the polytechnic students who are looking at advanced standing and so on. Is there any updates that you'd like to share with them, particularly to these 2 cohorts of students that the Sydney has actually been working?
Sure, most definitely, Daryl. USYD offers actually flexibility for many Singapore students. We do accept forecast results from JC students when applying for semester 1 next year. Basically, a full offer will be issued to them if they meet the entry requirements based on the forecast results, so that they can study with us in March next year. For polytechnic students, we will also accept their 5th semester results to secure their place with us here in semester 2. Even those who will be enlisting in national service soon, once you have your enlistment letter, the university will be able to hold your place for 2 years so that you can actually commence your studies straight after you ORD.
Oh, that's great. That's very good news. What about the ongoing pandemic in Australia? Would you like to share with us what's happening at the campus in terms of teaching? Is lessons all taught online, and what can one expect when one enrolls next year?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be happy to answer that question. So as you may all know, the whole world, we're forced to transition online with no promise to when this whole situation will transition back to face-to-face studies. So having said this, the University of Sydney was the quickest among Australian institutions to fully transition all our courses to remote online studies with minimum to even no interruptions. I mean, so which means that we were the only institution who didn't take 1 or 2 weeks of interrupted studies. And some courses have also even started implementing a hybrid study model, which allows for physical interactions for students who are in Australia. So I know it's still very grim with no promise, and although no one can make promises due to the dynamics and unpredictable nature of this whole situation, semester 1 next year would likely to be in a similar fashion as how it's run in semester 2, which means hybrid study. However, before borders reopen, remote studies will be offered to international students, but students will be able to come to Australia physically to attend classes once the restrictions are lifted, as the government has just recommenced issuing student visas. This means that when borders reopen, students who have applied for and have received student visas will be the first to be considered when borders open, and will be allowed to come back to Australia and make arrangements to travel.
Well, that's very good news, isn't it? I mean, we see a lot of updates in the news about what's happening in Northern Territory and this of late in South Australia, and hopefully New South Wales is going to be the next one that it's going to open its borders and so on. What about a support or scholarship for students with merits or hardship? Would you mind sharing with us what students can also look forward to in this area?
Yeah, so maybe I can help with this. Well, the University of Sydney does have actually a wide range of scholarships offered to international students, ranging from bachelor's to master's and even research as well. So I guess there's 2 different groups. There's new students and currently enrolled students as well who can apply for them. Some are faculty-based scholarships, and others, I guess, what we call general scholarships or bursaries, based on either merit or even other criteria. So I guess, we'll be able to share more details when you do join us at the open day next week.
Oh, that's great. And lastly, any final word for students who are looking forward to study at University of Sydney that you may have?
Yeah, I can answer that. I can close the loop on that. So I know that this year has caused dramatic changes to your future study plans, and it's really not because not restricted to Singapore and Malaysia. The whole world is experiencing and the fact that no one has certainty over what will happen next year must be frustrating, to say the least. But at the University of Sydney, both staff and students have adapted well to this pandemic, and we've been hearing amazing testimonials about remote learning over the past few months. And don't get me wrong, this is not to say that remote learning is better than the traditional way of face-to-face learning. However, what I'm trying to get at is the community at the University of Sydney has been extremely welcoming, so that you can still make friends and network with people as international students, although you may be commencing online. Our goal is to deliver the best quality education and experience to you in this time of crisis, so that you can feel more welcome and fit in better once borders reopen and you can come back and join us physically. So have an open mind. I know there may be some aspects where remote studies may not be as on par as the traditional way of physical studies, but we're making our efforts, and a lot of students have enjoyed what's been going on at the University of Sydney.
That's great to know. I'm sure we all now look forward to attending the fair to learn more about what's happening, and also learning a lot from your fellow students who are currently there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, Elaine and Josiah, thank you very much for your time and information. And we at AECC Global like to wish Sydney all the very best and success in the upcoming Sydney Virtual Fair, which is held next Saturday on the 31st of October, and also plenty of success in the coming years too. So below is the link of the information that you can find out more about the University of Sydney. And if you want to know more about the University of Sydney, don't forget to attend the fair or speak to any of the friendly AECC counselors by registering yourself early for the following website. Once again, thank you very much and have a great day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.